I asked Fred Warner a question today about Evan Anderson, and I thought he gave me a pretty good answer. Kev turned it into a little bit of a video here. Here it is. This is from earlier today inside the Niner locker room.
Nice.
Fred, how much you liking Anderson up front? He just seems like he gets better and better every game.
Yeah, man, Evan's just doing a heck of a job, really. Like, you talk about an undrafted free agent coming in, and usually the case is that guys don't really know your name. You just kind of you show up, you go to work, and make a practice squad, and then all of a sudden your name's called to be on that roster, and has made plays in every single game that he's been up. It's just it's a testament to him, the way that he's worked his confidence and his abilities and being ready for his moment when his number was called.
Fred, how much you liking Anderson up front? He's just.
I'm gonna kill the volume on this for a second since we just played it. But look at the footage of Anderson, and look at this guy. This guy's 325 pounds. He's right up here. Okay. And what's really astonishing is the quickness that a 325-pound man can have getting out of his stance into this hole and stuffing the running back. It's awesome. This is awesome quickness, strength. This is like a lot of people say, oh, get DJ Jones, get DJ. This is what DJ Jones used to do with the Niners.
Yeah.
This kid is phenomenal. This is the most underreported story of the year around the 49ers is they've found this kid as an undrafted rookie free agent. And as Fred just said there, every time this guy's been in the lineup, he makes plays. And look at the quickness here. Look where he is. Look how quick. Boom. In the backfield.
Wow.
It's 300. That's 3.25, man.
That was
Look
a
at
great
the quickness.
Play.
Look at the quickness. I mean, this guy gets 3 feet to his right in nothing. Beats his man. The lineman that's blocking him got barely a finger on him. Look at the right guard. He gets barely a finger on Anderson.
Yeah.
Or the center, I should say. The center.
Right.
The right guard actually down blocked. Look at the center. Look at the center right under Mayfield. And look at him just whiff on Anderson. Gone. Boom. That's it.
Yeah.
He's by you. He's by you. That guy's down. And Anderson is a revelation. That kid is so fun to watch. Just a really, really great run defender, but also has some quickness. He's an interesting player. Fred Warner Draymond Green went on the Fred Warner podcast.
Oh, nice.
And let me see if I can get this one. I think I have this.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's cool. I want to check that out.
Yeah, and in the podcast, Warner talks about how he's singularly focused. And, here it is. This is pretty interesting, Paulie. Look at this. This is, we'll share the screen again. Here we go. And here's Fred this is from Coach Yak's Twitter. We'll share this. And there we go. Let's see. Let's pause it for a second. There you go. Rewind it to the start. Here's Fred Warner talking to Draymond Green. I don't know if you see Draymond Green in the video in this one, but Draymond is in this podcast. Okay, he was on the Warner house. But listen to Fred here.
I've studied the greats in terms of players, coaches. There's nothing more in my life, Draymond, that I want more than a ring. You know what I'm saying? Like I've touched the All Pros, the Pro Bowls. People have my name in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, these sort of things. I don't care about none of that, man. I want a ring. Like I've been tasted being so close to it two times now, right? Back in 2019, we played the Chiefs, and then obviously last year playing the Chiefs and come up short both those times. And in both those games, we came in as the team to beat. Like we came in as the favorite. But in football, it's different than basketball, to be honest, because you only get one game. You get one game, and that's it. Like whoever wins that game, they're the champion. And in basketball, obviously, you guys get a best of 7 series where, hey, you might come out a little sluggish game 1. Okay, you lose that game. Hey, let's get back to the drawing board. Hey, and you come out game 2, you're hot, you're firing, and you can kind of go about it a little different in the finals, even though every game means everything. Still, at that point, it's a little different. But man, you talk about championship mindset and how it's not about coming in talking about we're gonna win a championship. It's about what are the things that are required to become a champion. You know what I'm saying? Like what does that look like? Starting at, obviously a championship team and then starting back down from there. Like what is that supposed to look like? And, I feel like we got the pieces over here with the Niners. to do that. You know, our coach Kyle Shanahan, man, I feel like he's the best in the game, best in the business in terms of how personable he is to the players and just the mind that he has coaching us. It's just a matter. It's a matter of when, not if. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, of when we do win it.
Interesting. So he wants that. He wants a Super Bowl more than anything else in his life, which I understand because he's tasted it. Right? You know, it's like you don't know. You know, if you've never gotten close, yeah, maybe it doesn't bother you that it's elusive. But when you've gotten as close as they've gotten, he can freaking taste it and he wants it.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And then I loved at the end there how he backed Shanahan. You know, there's so many people who are like, you know, Shanahan this, Shanahan that. Whatever. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying he's a perfect coach, but they're top 5 offense. They're top 5 passing, top 5 rushing. They're number 2 in time of possession. They're, you know, this is all done this year without CMC, who's arguably their best player. He's the reigning offensive player of the year. I don't know. I think people's standards sometimes for Shanahan get a little wacky, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Obviously, he hasn't done what the Niners judge themselves by, which is winning Super Bowls. And it's fair. I mean, it's fair. But I know it's like, okay, it's great to have high standards. Okay. But then if you're going to be miserable, if you don't reach your high standard,
right.
Is that any way to live?
It's a great question, man. Yeah.
You know, I want my kids to do well in school, Paulie. But when my daughter brought home a 4.2 GPA one year, I was like, honey, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, how many MFers got better than a 4.2 and how come you didn't get better than how come you're not the best student in your class?
Right.
How come you're the 7th best student? You got a 4.2. Somebody got a 4.33. You know what I mean? And if you're going to be miserable to your kid after she got a 4.2, aren't you kind of missing the forest through the trees? Now, granted, these aren't our kids, but it's the same kind of thing. If you're going to, it's awesome to set a really high standard, but can you crush yourself and fire everybody in sight if you don't reach your incredibly high standard? I mean, the Detroit Lions have never been to the Super Bowl, ever.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan's only been the Niner coach for 7 years. He's been to 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first off, I just think that Fred Warner is going to be remembered as one of the great 49ers of all time. I mean, I love him on the field. I love him off the field. Larry, you've talked to him. He's a stand-up guy, really easy to talk to, very personable. And I think he fits in, like, historically in the timeline of great 49er linebackers we've seen. I mean, you can go back to Keena Turner, and then the 90s with Woodall and Plummer and Norton, and then it was Ulbrich, and then it was Bowman and Willis, and now it's Warner. It's his defense now. And you know, watching him play every Sunday, he does so much. I mean, if I have any concerns with Fred, is that he's going to like overextend himself. He makes interceptions. He's making tackles. He's got incredible, side to side movement. He's always making tackles. And I love the guy. I mean, I really love the guy. And it kind of asked me, here's a great barstool question, Larry, like 2 sports fans talking in a bar, having suffered those 2 really painful losses, man, to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You hear this is the kind of call we would get on KNBR with, on the Murph and Mac show. When fans are licking their wounds, they'd say, what would you prefer? Would you prefer your team make it to the Super Bowl and lose or not to make it to the Super Bowl at all? Like, what's your view of that mentality, Krugs?
Say that again.
Like
what mentality?
Like being a fan, whether or not you'd rather your team go to Super Bowls and lose them.
Oh, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I'd rather go to Super Bowls and lose them than not.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather love and lose than not love at all.
Love and lost. Right. Then better than
right. I mean, I'd rather, date the girl and have her dump me and be crushed than just stay at home. Never risk anything, and you didn't go on the date, but you didn't get dumped. I'd rather go on the date and get dumped.
Might as well.
I'd rather love and lose than hold
Never
my love.
Loved it all. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's the old saying. My grandmother used to say it. She's no longer with us. She said, "Life is for the living,
Yeah.
In other
Indeed.
words, go live.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
go
dude,
live.
absolutely.
Go
Dude,
live.
live every day.
And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to strive and fail.
Yeah.
I'd rather strive and fail than not strive.
Yeah, right. And Larry, what about what I was saying at first, just about like how he fits in historically to, great San Francisco linebackers? We've seen so many. I really put him right in that top tier, man. I would put him right alongside of Bowman and Willis. Those guys were ferocious. I mean, do you view it that way too? Do you feel Fred is of that ilk to say,
yes.
at that level?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really, and I know history will remember them differently. Willis is going to make the Hall. Bowman and, Greenlaw are not going to make the Hall. Fred probably is going to make the Hall. I mean, I would be my guess. But to me, they're all in this. I don't care about the Hall. The Hall is about, a bunch of things. To me, those guys are all on the same level.
Yeah.
Willis, Bowman, Greenlaw, Warner, Al-Shaair even is a spectacular player.
Yeah.
These guys are great. These guys are all great. They can run, they can hit, they live to hit. They were all great players. I'd probably say Willis was the best, but I don't know. There was a time there where I thought Bowman was better than Willis. And there's been a time where I thought Greenlaw was better than Warner. And Al-Shaair looks awesome right now in Houston. So I don't know, all these guys are awesome. They're all tremendous linebackers. As far as I'm concerned.
I want to shout. I mean, he's not a linebacker, but I want to shout out Malik Mustapha too, because you mentioned Warner with the big hits. This kid, I love watching Mustapha play. He reminds me of like a young Ronnie Lott, just the way he brings the lumber, man. He will come and find you and lay your ass out. And he's just got a good nose for the ball. I'm very happy with him. He's just playing so well at this point of his young career. He looks great.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to share the screen on the Mustapha as well. There's a Mustapha. Let me see here. Here it is. Kev put this out.
Okay.
So my son put this out, stats on Mustapha, and they're pretty amazing. Look at this tweet right here. Malik Mustapha has a minus 44.9% catch rate over expected. It's the best in the NFL. Okay. So now, granted, it's a small sample size, but Malik Mustapha has a 16.7% catch rate, best in the NFL among all defensive backs. Mustapha has a 32.6 passer rating when targeted. That's fourth best in the NFL among defensive backs. And then Kev says, we all know Mustapha can make big hits, but we are underrated. But are we underrating him in coverage? This guy, what I love about Malik Mustapha, Paulie, is this guy plays at a speed that is faster than his 40 time. He shows up. This guy comes firing up on the football from the secondary. This guy comes flying into the screen. If I made you watch the game and I put the TV like 40 yards away, you could still pick him off the screen because he's that different than everybody else. Everybody's moving at like one speed, and this guy's moving at a greater speed.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing at one level. This guy's playing at a higher level. I mean, I'm not exaggerating it. Go watch the film and and then back away from it and just look at how the movement of the players. This guy moves faster than everybody else when the game's going on. Yeah, no, he's been great. He's been great. And he does it every week. It's not like that was an anomaly. He's been doing that all year, this kid. Playing great football. He's incredibly physical. He's incredibly physical. That's a great one. Oh, it's awesome. This is from Demo. I asked Demo today at the presser. I have a good relationship with Demo. This is one of my favorite Niners. This guy gives you great answers and tough as a $2 steak, as Harbaugh used to say. Here we go.
Congrats on the new deal. Nobody does it alone. Who were some guys along the way? I know you worked at the Mamba Institute. Who are some guys that kind of helped you get to this point?
I would say my family and friends, just pushing me to be great. Always, it was kind of like never like the people I had around me, they were never like, I would say, haters, or were like, they always told me that, they look for me to be great, to push me to get to new heights. And they always was telling me like, oh, you can't do this, like just as a way of a challenge. Cause I'm the person, like, I like to be challenged. I'm like a competitive person. So when they would tell me stuff like that, I would like to try to prove them wrong. So I would say they actually, molded me to the player I am right now.
The hyena. What a great dude this guy is. What a great player he is. Here also is Shanahan weighing in on exactly. Shanahan says that Demo is exactly what he wants in a Niner. They love this kid. They love his DNA. They love his physicality. Listen to Shanahan talk about how much they love him.
How happy are you to get the deal done with Deommodore?
Oh, pumped. Something we tried to do in the offseason. Didn't get it done. They started working on it here a few weeks ago, and for them to finish it up yesterday, so pumped. Can't say enough about Demo. He's exactly what we want as a Niner. His style of play, how good he's become, and really just how much he loves football, and he's the same dude every day. So I know we were pumped. The guys were pumped. It was huge.
Yeah, that's a kind of an underrated aspect. This is a question that personnel people ask guys at the combine all the time. And how much do you love football? Or they'll ask questions to try to find out how much you love football. Yeah. And it really is a big deal because there's an old saying, everybody's looking at their watch. They're either at home looking at their watch saying, I need to get to the facility, or they're at the facility looking at their watch saying, I got to get home. And if you're one of these guys that loves the process of football, you're the same every day, and you show up and you're eager to work and you love the process of pro football. Everybody loves game day. I mean, I played football. I loved game day. I hated practice. I hated football practice, but I loved game day. Game day was awesome. Game day was super fun. Practice stunk. Practice was drudgery. Practice was work. I didn't like it. You have to love the process of pro football to really be good at it. And that, Demo, he's a violent player in a violent game, but loves the process of pro football. He's tough as hell. He hits like a linebacker. He covers like a corner. I mean, he's a tremendous player. Really smart of the 49ers to get that deal done.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great development, Larry. And while we're talking about some of the young guys on the team, I feel like we should shout out Pearsall as well. Ricky Pearsall had himself a really nice game, kind of his coming out party in the NFL. I mean, I know he played previous to this one in Tampa, but he had a big impact on the game. And I think we're going to see a lot more of him starting Sunday against Seattle. I think they're going to start to incorporate him more and more, especially with Ayuk being gone now. So just your thoughts on what you saw from Pearsall. I was pretty pleased, Krug.
Oh, love Pearsall. I mean, it's not just what I'm seeing from him. It's when you're around the kid in the locker room, you can tell he's another guy. He loves to play the game. He's got unbelievable respect from his teammates. This guy holds himself to really high standards. I'm seeing a player that's getting better by the week, and I think he's going to be a really, really very valuable player before the end of this year. I don't think we got to wait till next year. I think he's going to be like a trusted agent from Purdy, like within the next 2-3 weeks. I'm expecting him to explode. He's one of the reasons I'm not panicky about Ayuk being out is that you got Pearsall and you got Cowing too, but Pearsall really is something. Nick Bosa held court today at his locker, and I didn't like the Nick Bosa Baker Mayfield play. I mean, what the hell, dude? You're a defensive end. He's a quarterback. I mean, get his ass on the ground.
I mean, Baker Mayfield was kind of stiff-arming him. That was the most bizarre. I could not believe Bosa couldn't get him to the ground. And then Mayfield makes the play. Dude, he made it. I can't believe he completed that pass. That was nuts.
Here's Bosa at his locker. Okay. I wanted to ask this question, but I think for whatever, I was too far behind the scrum here. So I was pretty far back. But here's Nick talking about it.
Oh, the slow motion makes it look pretty tough. But it was weird because it was fourth down, so I was thinking more. If I hold on to him, I don't think he can make a play. If I try and get him down, maybe go for his legs, or then he could possibly get off me and throw it. So I figured he couldn't make a play, but he definitely did.
Nick went on to say that, he was kind of hurting at this point in the game. Now, I don't know if he was hurting physically or if it was fatigue, but he, I don't want to say he was making an excuse, because I don't think he was making an excuse, but he basically was saying that, it looks bad. I mean, he just kind of acknowledged there, hey, man, that looks in the slow-mo, that looks awful. That looks awful.
Yeah, it really does. It's not a good look for Bosa. And that's like one of his, that's like his primary enemy. He's been taunting Baker Mayfield. Yeah, man, that goes back to Oklahoma and Ohio State, and it's gotten, carried into the NFL now. So, yeah, it's kind of an embarrassing moment for Bosa. But if you're Baker Mayfield, dude, you feel like a stud. You're like, yeah, I held Bosa off me. I made the play. He's tougher than people think, Baker Mayfield. He's a little fire plug, that guy.